wallpaper removal. Now we just posted a video and suggested that you don't use any tools. Just the 10 tools on all of your fingers, because you can do a lot with your fingernails that doesn't damage the walls. But what about if your wall covering is, you need a little more aggressive approach? What do? A lot of you will resort to using metal tools, right? You'll start scraping away and you'll start cutting at it using a knife, making lines. You are not only damaging the walls, but you're probably doubling the amount of time it's going to take you to get the wall covering done. But I understand if you don't know how to do this, this is a project that any do-it-yourselfer can do. But let's save time, right? Now let's go into phase 2. There are 3 phases in my opinion, the way I assess wallpaper removal. 3 phases of difficulty. 1 is the video prior to this one. It comes down easily, you use your fingers, you don't use tools that can damage the wall. The second one is when you start getting this. Now we're talking about spending a lot of time on this. Your primary tool to remove wall covering is water. Your secondary tool for removing difficult wall covering is water and patience. If you have a difficult wall covering, take the time and realize that you just have to do what you do in step 1 more times. So if you apply water and it doesn't do the job, do it over and over again until the backing is saturated, until it's like toilet paper. Watch this. You see that? Now, after the second pass with water, it didn't saturate it and expand it and didn't release it from the glue. But I can now do this with my finger. Or here. It's not going to do it here because it's not as wet over here. So now we're on a more difficult removal. I want to introduce you to a tool that I use, and I've used them on my videos. This is a $2 tool that I bought within the continental United States. Here in New York, you can get them anywhere in Harbor Freight. And I forget who makes them. But they leave these annoying stickers on here, which, until you get them off, they interfere with the job, because the paper gets stuck on your wall covering. Anyway, had I left the sticker on it, I would know who made this. But they're right in Harbor Freight. Once we start buying them, the price is going to double, right? So now, this is the first aggressive tool I would use to take down your wall covering. Let's try it. On a 15-degree or less angle against the wall, I'm going to start scraping off my wall covering. Let's see how I do. Please. Now you see what I'm doing here. I'm protecting the texture. You see the angle at which I'm pushing this. You see, this is a 40, this is a 90, this is 45. I'm going down to 10 to 15 degrees, because if I do it like this, I'm going through the wall. It's wet now, it's vulnerable to getting scratched, okay? So, I'm pushing with all my weight and at the right angle. And you can see the benefit of it, right? What do you think? Don't go scraping your walls up with those perforators. They're called the paper tiger. First of all, I can tell you this. The paper tiger is a piece of garbage, because the friction that's needed to get that thing going, it melts the connections. I've gone through them in less than 15 minutes, I kid you not. As soon as I start going like this around the wall, those parts get heated up and the tines just, they come right off. It's junk. I hate to say it, but it's true. Zinsser, it's a piece of garbage. So, this is your $2 tool. And water. Now here's something else you might want to try. Hot water and vinegar. That'll help you too, okay? And you might want to try a little salt and pepper if you get hungry. This way you can eat while you're doing it. Okay. Resist the temptation to pull. You want this to do the work. Because it'll come down in slivers like you just saw with me. Okay. Now, let me show you something else. Excuse me. Let me show you this. I've said in a dozen videos why you want to cut your corners. Please come in. Can everybody see this? This second part of the video. I'm not going to make a separate video. This is about what do you do with wallpaper corners. Let's go over it quickly. If you don't cut your corners, look at what happens. Look. The corner has lifted at least 1/2 inch from the corner. Now, if the installer had cut his corner, this would not have happened. Or, see, with the heat and humidity, the paper lifts off of the corner and it shrinks. You know how you get atrophy in your muscles if you don't use them? Well, the wallpaper actually shrinks and you get atrophy in the material and you can't put it back, because watch what happens if you tried. It's all loose there. So, if they had done this, when they installed it, it could never lift off of the corner. And you simply overlap by 1/8 of an inch in the corner. Those of you who hang paper know what I'm talking about. If you don't, if you're not going to cut your corners, make sure you use one of these and you push that corner in using extra special glue, clay-based glue in the corners that really keeps it down. Let me show you one other corner. This is no longer a corner. This is a rounded corner. Look. You see this? Just come close. I want the people to hear. You hear the movement in there? You can tell it's hollow, right? Look. So folks, either do one of two things. Cut your corners, overlap them by 1/8 of an inch, or if you're not going to cut them because it's not prudent to do so, because it would alter the pattern, fine. Make sure you first put extra special glue, 2 inches on each side, and you use one of these to push your wall covering into the corner. If you like the video, please click on like, subscribe to my channel, and tell me how you do it, all right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.